students are needing a little more practice on adding and subtracting mixed numbers and fractions. So I wanted to do a quick video on how to set that up. We did do a little practice with turning the mixed number into an improper fraction and then adding or subtracting, but we should also know how to do it with the whole number as a separate part. So let's find a common denominator first. The denominators 3 and 2 have the common denominator of 6, or a common multiple. I know that I multiplied the bottom times 3, so what you do to the bottom you must do to the top to keep it equivalent. 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/2 is equivalent to 3/6. And 3 times 2 is 6. What you do to the bottom you must do to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we can add them because they are of equal denominator. 3/6 plus 4/6 is 7/6. So we still have 3 wholes, but 7/6, we could rewrite that as 1 and 1/6. So really we have 3 and 1 and 1/6. So 3 and 1 is 4 plus our 1/6. So another way of doing it is to turn the 3.5 into an improper fraction. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. That gives us 7/2 plus 2/3. And again, we need to find common denominator. Our common multiple, the least common multiple is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. What we do to the bottom, you must do to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. What you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. 7 times 3 is 21. Now we can add 21 plus 4 is 25/6. So the question is, how many 6s go into 25? I know that 4 times 6 is 24, leaving us 1/6 left over. Yeehaw, the answers match. So we can also do it with subtraction. Again, we cannot add or subtract until the bottoms are the same. There's an old saying, subtracting fractions, don't get hyped, subtract the tops when the bottoms are alike. That's for the algorithm. I know they have a common denominator of 6. I know that 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. What you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. Now, to subtract, well, we can't subtract 4 away from 3. So now is where we have to regroup. We don't have enough 6ths to subtract 4. So we can borrow it from 3. If I borrow a whole, that means we only have 2 wholes, but I need to add a whole, or 6/6, which would be a whole, before I can subtract. So 6/6 and 3/6 is 9/6. Now what I tell the students to do is, when they borrow a whole, I make them draw a line, an arrow, pointing to where it went. So we understand if you take a whole, you can't, it doesn't just disappear, we're using it. We're renaming it as 6ths so that we can subtract. 9/6 take away 4/6 is 5/6. And our whole number, we still have 2, nothing else to subtract. We get 2 and 5/6. Okay, let's try it the other way. Let's turn this into an improper fraction of, like we did over here, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay, it'll do it down here. So we have 7/2, take away 2/3. Common denominator of 6. 2 times 3. What we do to the bottom, you must do to the top. We get 21/6. 3 times 2 is 6. What you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract 4 from 21, you get, let's see, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17/6. Okay, how many 6s go into 17? We know that 2 gives you 12, and that gives you 5 left over, giving us 2 5/6. Yippee. Love it when they match.